Thank you for joining us at Delegation Magic. My name is Casey Truby, the inventor. Now, this is the greatest business building system for a small company under $1 million in sales that wants to break that barrier and cross over $1 million a year. Or if you're doing $1 million, this will be the fastest way you've ever seen to catapult yourself up to 5. I invented it for my wife's accounting business several years ago. Now, the secret word on this short video is going to be the word crowdsourcing. You see, in business, there's only 3 ways to grow sales: find more buyers, or increase your average sale, or improve the number of times that a customer comes back and buys again and again. If you improve each of these 3 steps by just 2% a month, you can double your business in 1 year. But there's no real way to do that until my wife came to me and said she's having a hard time. And in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what she did in her business and what her clients were doing because, well, quite frankly, 4 years into a recession, sales were going nowhere and they kept hitting a brick wall. Costs are going up, but business just could not move. So they're slowing down, back office costs are way too high, and sometimes the business owner was even doing things like bookkeeping and payroll to try to save money. Well, there must be 100 little things that you could do every day in your business, but the big question you have to ask yourself is, just what is it that this company's paying me to do? And I got to tell you, as far as I can tell, after 43 years of working with small companies, there are 3 things you get paid to do: is start and build relationships with clients, the new ones or the existing ones. That should be where 80% of your day is. And then the second thing is training and supporting your staff and your vendors. And the third one, can we innovate or standardize our deliverable? And we spend about 10% of our time there. But 100% of everything else you do is a total waste of your time and resources. And it's keeping your company from success, and that includes more sales. Now you can boil all this down to one sentence. If you ask the SBA, why do most businesses fail? They'll say undercapitalization or poor management. Well, I tell you, that's ridiculous. You know what it really is? The owner worked on the wrong thing. They didn't know how to stick to where they were making money. What's the company pay me for? And it happens every day. You see it all the time. 100 businesses start up, 80 of them are going to fail, 18 will struggle. The Wall Street Journal says the average annual pay of self-employed people today is $45,000. That's not even a good job. But 2 of them get rich. Well, what do those 2 know? Well, I'm going to show you what they know, but I got to tell you, those numbers are plumb nuts. 98 out of 100 never really make it. And here's why. We get sucked into those 100 details. They scream and cry at us like my 2-year-old, and they keep dragging us away from working on the right thing. It's no wonder we feel like a rat on a wheel. Now, the second biggest question here is, why hasn't this been solved? What's the solution, and why haven't we implemented it? Well, I can tell you that most of us see the only solution to getting work off our desk is to hire more employees, but that's expensive. If you total up your total burden rate for a $15 an hour employee, and I'm talking about office and management and computers and insurance and everything, that person costs you $76,000 a year. And you hire the person, it may be a big mistake, they may be uncomfortable in your office, or you're going to get a little drama queen, and my goodness, you know how much time they can suck up. And the other reason this problem has not been solved and why we're not able to focus on what really counts is that we don't have written systems and processes in place so that everything's on a checklist or a flow chart. So this is what my wife came to me. She said, fix this problem for my business and for my clients. And I will tell you, just as a footnote, all of her clients over the last several years have quickly crossed the $1 million a year sales level. That's pretty good for a little bookkeeper's clients. So she said, give me a solution. And I started looking around, thinking about the recession, and here's what I came up with. This is what is possible. There are millions of people out of work, and it's been past 99 weeks for lots of them, and they can't find a job now. These people are willing to work from home on contract basis for a small amount of money per hour. Let me just give you some examples. I've got one gal that does nothing but collection calls. Takes out of my office, the bookkeeper hated doing it anyway, and it never got done, so I have somebody that does it. I have somebody that sets up leads for my salespeople, and then the salespeople call back and close. I've got a gal working at home that calls old customers that haven't been in for 90 days and resurrects them. What do we need to do to get you back in? I've got another gal in Topeka who does nothing but train my customers on how to use my service. And she also sends out birthday cards and thank you cards to all of our customer list. I'd never get around to doing that kind of thing. I got a woman in Idaho who is expert at posting ads on Craigslist and Amazon, eBay, because we might sell little trinkets regarding our companies just to get names in the database of people that might become future clients. I've got another gal in Texas who loves doing social media. And we never get around to doing all this work, but it seems to work. So we have her do all of our social media. She manages it. I pay her $12 an hour. She works an average of about 4 hours a week. I even use college kids to write content articles for my website so that we're constantly coming up on the top of Google. One woman in West Virginia does nothing but answer my phone and emails, and of course I stopped doing all my bookkeeping because that was pretty easy. I just assigned that to my wife who owns a bookkeeping business. But here's what I really like about using Delegation Magic, the in the cloud business management system. If one of my people do call in sick, I don't lose work. If I need something critical that has to be done, they can work from home even if the baby is sick. Well, that frees up cash flow and my time so I can work on those 3 things that count. Starting and building relationships with new clients or existing ones, training and supporting our staff, and innovating and standardizing our deliverable. And that probably sounds a little overwhelming. I've got 65 people now working for me from home all over the world, and you're probably, oh my goodness, I couldn't do that. Well, just start where you need the help the most. Can we hire somebody to make phone calls from home at $10 or $15 an hour, or straight commission just to find sales leads for us on the phone? Or can we get somebody to do follow-up calls for add-on sales or get old customers to come back? Just pick 1 or 2 things that you can start with to see how well this will impact your business. Now, this is difficult to do because we can't get access to those 1 million people. The reason we can't access their capacity is because we don't have a way to show them the documents. All of our paper, and everything in business is paper, all of our documents are in our office. They don't know how to get the work done, and we've got no way to manage their time. Well, the one commonality to all these problems and all the problems of building the business is paper. Nothing happens in business that doesn't generate paper within 30 seconds. And this is what's really different now. For the first time in the cloud, we can actually become a paperless business easily. This document thing, if a bill comes in the mail, you have to pull down a blank check. If a customer calls, you get an order form. Somebody leaves a message or wants to change the schedule, you grab a pink slip to make a note about it. If we could capture that paper, then everybody could access the documents and the work associated with it right from the screen. So the first step in building a better business and increasing sales is to get rid of the largest friction point in any company, and that's documents. Edward Deming said, and he did a lot of extensive research on this, most of you have read his management books, that 25% of the cost of running a company is the paperwork, pushing paper from station to station or work event to work event. Well, if you get rid of that paper, you will dramatically cut that 25%. So if somebody does hand us paper, we throw it on the scanner. If mail does come in, we throw it on the scanner. As a matter of fact, if it goes in the scanner, you can actually get your bookkeeping done now for $1. Most of us have 200, 300, 400 transactions a month. And we're paying a bookkeeper $3,000 a month. Well, now you can get that done for $1 a transaction if the documents are scanned in. That's a big option, but it's possible out there. I do the same thing when I'm on the road. If I get a receipt where I run into a business, I use my smartphone, take a picture, it goes right into my system. We went to all of our vendors, all of our customers, said the same thing. Let's get rid of documents, clean up the business so that I can focus more energy on bringing in clients. And I can take take all that overhead money I save and put it into my marketing efforts. And I can use this cloud process to access the many people who will help me either on commission or low hourly contract, only pay them on the working basis, to help me find new clients. So to get started, documents go in and we actually hand read every single piece of paper and we name it in a dialog box that this is from bookkeeping, it's Home Depot, it's a credit memo, so that it's easily searchable. But the big event is, in a couple of days, we're a paperless business. If I need to find anything, I just use the exact same drop-down boxes that my naming clerks, we call them document technicians, they use to name the document, and there it pops up on the screen. It is so easy. So with paperless, my desk is clear, everything is on my screen, 2 screens or 3, and I feel like Captain Kirk in a command center. And this allows me to do workflow tracking and manage the people. So my wife and I, in our separate businesses, were able to go out and start hiring people that work from home all over the country. We tapped into those millions of people looking for help, and they just log onto the same exact dashboard that's on my screen all day long. Everyone that works for me is on this screen, even if they only work 2 hours a week. Like the gal in Idaho that does posting on eBay and Craigslist and Amazon so that we can trip up new potential clients by selling a low dollar item. She's on here and I can see what she's working on. And so what happens is when she comes to work, she just clicks on her name, a list of projects that I've uploaded to her pop up on the screen. She just clicks on the first one and there's the paper and she does the work. Remember, everything that has to do with work has to do with paper. But here's what's really different now. When our staff person comes in and clicks on their name, they're going to see everything that has to do with getting this job done. And I can see the same exact thing that they're looking at, so I know exactly what's going on when I'm hiring somebody that works from home. Now, if they get into a job and they don't know how to do it, they click a button called up, and the job moves from their electronic desktop to their manager's electronic desktop. And I can access this from home, or if I'm on a job site, if I go on vacation, from any place with my iPad or Android, I can see exactly what's going on. It's exactly like having everything in your company right on your fingertips. Now, the exciting thing about this, though, is by electronically managing work, you can also flowchart and video clip the entire business. Just like Michael Gerber talked about in '87 when he wrote the first E-Myth book. I read that book in '87. I didn't sleep for a month thinking, that's exactly what I've got to do. But 20 years later, it still wasn't there. And it wasn't until we realized that the cloud and new technology and using live human beings to actually read every piece of paper that comes in and name it and code it to the person that's supposed to do the work, those major technology changes finally made the E-Myth possible. Now let's talk about work. You know, the number one reason that people don't get what you ask them to do, they don't get it done, is because they don't know how. And you can take a lot of time and train them, but here's something else terrible. 20 to 25% of everybody that works for you quits every year. And when they leave, everything you taught them goes away. But listen to this. When that low-level staff person I'm paying $10 an hour for in Swartz Creek, Michigan, can't do a job, and they click up, and the job moves from one desktop to another desktop, maybe across America, maybe across the world, the manager looks at this task and they just go ahead and do it. But they have a button called record, and the computer screen turns into a camera using a version of Camtasia and records their voice, and they just walk through how they did the process step by step. So the next time that job comes into my low-paid person, bang, there's the video clip or the flowchart or the checklist. It comes up right with the work, and everybody knows exactly how to do every job. And when they leave, all the knowledge stays behind, so I can interchange people quickly and easily. This allows me to shave time and money off the cost of running the business. But the most exciting thing about building a business in the cloud using virtual crowdsourcing workers is that I now have access to the off-site micro labor for small short-term jobs. Now, we hire all over the world. Most of my people are in North America, usually US and Canada, and I'm paying them between $10 and $15 an hour. And I get some great applicants. Just this morning, I had a woman call me and say, I want to tell you the truth. I got your name by referral. One of your employees, contractors, recommend I call you. I was a six-figure medical rep, doing very well, got drunk, got arrested, lost my license, lost my job. Now I'm stuck at home. And I would like to work for you part-time, and I want $10 an hour. Can you pay me $10 an hour? And I'm thinking, here's a person accustomed to doing very well, accustomed to speaking well with high-powered clients. Of course, I'm going to put that person on at $10 an hour. Are you kidding? She will work even 2 or 3 hours a day. I might spend $80 a week, and for that $80, what am I going to do? She's probably going to be able to contact somewhere between 30 and 50 potential clients a week. Are you kidding? That'll be the best money I've ever spent. I use people in Asia, that means India, for about $8 an hour, and I get some work done in the Philippines for $2 an hour, but I manage it all in 24 hours a day, live, real time on my dashboard with my delegation magic. By outsourcing all these tasks, and outsourcing doesn't mean it's going to India, outsourcing means it's out of my office. The vast majority of our people are people living in the United States. And vast majority, I mean probably 80% of our 65 employees that we're now working with this system on. And it took us a couple of years to get up to that, but every day we keep adding, finding new things that we can get out of the office and adding new people that want to work for us, mostly in sales. So bringing these people in easily cuts our labor cost by half because we don't have all the overhead burden. And maybe it's even cutting more than half. But what else I like is that there's no slack time. Everybody's working on a defined process, a checklist, and they only bill me for when they're working. And I can tell exactly what they're doing and the time they start and the time they stop. This gives me an economy of scale that Walmart and UPS have become famous for. So doing a business in this manner lets your cost go down while your sales can go up. And the reason the sales go up is because you can reallocate resources to client acquisition and retention, because you can access low-cost labor to make this possible. So if you like this idea and want to know if it'll work for your business, here's what you should do next. You should stop the convoluted, complicated business that every one of us gets sucked into, and 98 out of 100 either fail or struggle because we can't figure out how to get our business to the next level, and start running the business online and have a lot more fun. Now, that doesn't mean you have to close your office, but that means your expansion in the future is going to be done in micro mini steps, and that everybody who doesn't perform quickly gets terminated because you just change your passwords and they can't get in. You PayPal them their check. It's real easy to let people go that don't do the job, but you're not going to put a big burden into hiring. And you can, this woman I hired this morning, 2 hours a day, $10 an hour. She might work 3 hours a day, but I got to tell you something, if she doesn't cut the mustard, she's out. This is so easy to do when I'm running my entire business on my Delegation Magic dashboard. So if you'd like to learn about how to run this type of business in your personal operation, even if you only got 1 or 2 or 3 people you want to grow, or if you've got 25 or 50 people and you're trying to bring in some additional salespeople to work from home, give us a call. Their phone number or the email form on this page will link you back to my office, and we'll be happy to talk to you one-to-one about how this might work for you. Oh, and money. Everybody asks about money. $97 a week. And that's not buying software, that's buying my staff, who actually receives every piece of paper and names it, tags it, organizes it, delegates it to the person that's supposed to do the work, and then tracks that workflow through the entire system along with the knowledge about how to get the work done so that your business accelerates. You're going to be blown away by how you're going to be able to build a business now that the friction points are removed. Thanks for listening, and give us a call today.